What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are doing something crazy. We are building a wall. We're doing footers. We're doing tons of stuff that we have no idea what we're doing with no experience, but we are doing it anyways. On a previous video, Matt dug the ditch, dug the footer, and a lot of you had a lot of comments saying, whoa, that's really deep. Whoa, you could build a 3-story house on that. And we had a good laugh about it because you're probably right.
It was a lot of digging, but the concrete's not too crazy around here. They got a plant pretty close by, so you can get a good deal on it. And we have hurricanes and earthquakes here, and we're gonna build the wall pretty high. It's gonna have a pretty big gate and a door, so it's something that I don't want to break or crack every time I drive by a block wall and there's big cracks around it. It may be something that's just completely unavoidable with this sort of project, but I want to not have it crack. You know, I'm not gonna be around in 100 years. Kristen probably won't either, but this footer is still gonna be here. The aliens, when they discover this, are gonna say, wow, I wonder what this young man thought he was gonna build out here. But it's gonna be a wall, but either way, we're pressing forward, few finalizing touches, and then we're gonna be ready for concrete. I got concrete coming, so clock's ticking.
It's actually coming tomorrow at 10 a.m., so we got to get this steel
You'd think
ripping.
I got all day, but since I've been blessed with 9,000 cats, I have a vet appointment that I was able to get today at 2, so we got a short window to sling that steel. All right, so for the bottom steel grid, for the structural integrity of this concrete, we're using number 5 for the footer runs. And then for the uprights, for the horizontals, we're using number 5. And then for the uprights, we're going to be using number 4. And I'm going to put those every 4 feet. That's going to be some figuring out where they have to go, because they do have to go between the blocks. But for now, this first layer is pretty simple. Snake the steel and throw it in the ditch. Alright, so any of my steel boys out there know that bending that number 5 ain't easy. I'm sure there's a contraption for it, but I just shoved it through where my hitch goes and bend it. You get a pretty tight bend that way. I don't know if it's up to code section 3135-2, but I think it'll get in there and it'll still work for this footer. Alright, that's a pretty good 90 there. Now, word to the wise for all my steel slinging ladies and gentlemen out there. My foreman asked me when I put this through, and I was going to pull the bent side over, she said, why wouldn't you just pull the other side? It'd be a lot easier to pull that short side. And I said, well, honey, you dang right. And the reason you don't pull this side is because you'll never be able to get that 90 back out from inside this thing. And the reason I know that is because the first one that I did to practice, I did that. And I had to rebend it straight to get it out. So I really acted like I was smarter than her, and I said, well, and she said, oh, that's pretty smart, I guess. And I just had to be honest that I'm only smarter because I did it first and I ruined it, and then I had to redo it. And that's why I do projects myself, because I think that's the best way to learn. All right, so it's a couple inches too big. I bent it in the middle of my mark instead of on the end of my mark, so it's about 3 inches off. So I'm gonna straighten her out, and then I'm gonna see if I can get her back bent down. All right, moment of truth number 2.
That looks better.
Sure does look a lot better. It was not that far out before prior, and normally if I was working on a crew, that's where I'd say something like you can't see it from my house. But in this particular instance, you will be able to see it from my house. So I had to fix it. So every time you have the steel meet up or you have a splice to go in, it has to be a certain distance. We're doing 24 inches here. So I think you can do like 18 inches. I'm doing 24 because I got the steel and I just want to make sure nothing's moving. So yeah, gonna cut my, hopefully this can get through the steel and we can get it cut. I'm a steel man. All right, so the next step is to get in here with my bar ties, get this piece all put together, straight where it's gonna go before we block it up.
Alright, it's the next day. We did not get as far as we were hoping. We had a cat appointment, so we didn't get as far as we were hoping, so we had to reschedule our concrete for tomorrow. So today we are getting our uprights in. We are making sure they're measured in the proper spot so when we slide the brick down, it goes through the holes. So wish us luck on that. It's been a confusing project. We tried to Google a lot. We tried to ask people. There's a lot of different information. So we're doing our best and we're hoping this comes out. worked all day. We got our rebar in. That stuff takes way more time than I could have anticipated. We ran out of the, what do you call those?
The wire ties.
The wire ties, so we had to run to the store, get more of those, but...
And we ran out with like, I needed like 15 more. It was pretty awful. I had to go get a hold of the roll. It sucked pretty bad. But it was cool. Kristen helped me out while I was cutting the steel and bending it. She was helping me out with the wire ties, so her new nickname is no longer Boatyard Betty or Turnip Tina. It's Rebar Rebecca. Old Rebby Reb.
No, I don't want that name because I do not like doing the
Bro,
rebar.
she was doing the twister, and if you've ever done steel, basically, oh, I don't know where my twister is, but it's a hook, and you just twist it. And she was trying to use it like a screwdriver, and it was
hard. There's actually talent that goes into doing that. So
Kristen
when you
was-
see people just whip it and swirl it and it works,
Kristen
it's not
was
that
learning a
easy.
lot of respect for her blue-collar brethren today. She was like, oh, this is kind of a little more difficult than I thought, but, you know, she enjoyed it. She said, you know, this is what life's all about. Building, learning new things. She said, oh, it's kind of wild in here. So and then we were using the water level to double check our laser level and our 4-foot level. So we basically triple redundancy the level. And someone told me one time, back when I was building pools, that this is how they built the pyramids, and they used pig intestines that they filled up with water. So if that's true, let me know, because that's what I heard back on the yard back when I was working construction as a young lad. But you hear all kinds of crazy things. So let me know. Pig intestines built the pyramids.
I thought the aliens built the pyramids.
Well, that's one thing they do say about it, but I think they said pig guts or something.
So tomorrow, first thing in the morning, the truck is coming and they're just gonna pour it. And basically because I don't know how to do any of it.
Concrete Kathy?
We're
You
doing
ain't
the
gonna be
concrete.
Concrete Kathy?
We're trying to smooth it and do it ourselves. They don't come with workers, they said, right?
Yeah, I mean, we checked the level, so we have to get it as close to the level as we can. But aside from that, we got the steel in. Structurally, the tensile strength is going to be good. We still got plenty of concrete going around the steel, so there's not going to be any frailty there. You know, I'm thinking it's going to work. We just got to get it as close to that level as we can. And then I believe with a block wall, you obviously don't want to be liberal with this, but I think with the mortar, you can be up to, like, let's say, I don't know, you could probably be an 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch out of level, and probably still be able to figure it out with the mortar and settle it in there. I don't know.
We'll see.
All my mortar boys let me know, but
Keep following along.
we want to get it
We gotta
perfect.
see if
If
this
I can get it
comes out.
perfect, I want to get it perfect. I'm gonna do some concrete. Hope they mixed it right, and then I'm gonna get it. When I tell you this is gonna be marble flat, but
It's poured out. It went a lot different than I thought it was gonna go. Right now they're smoothing it and making it get to the right spots that it needs to get, but I don't know why I thought when it was gonna come out of the tube it was just gonna be a gentle process. That stuff came flying out at high speeds, and then it knocked one of our string lines in, but we pulled it back out. Luckily, it looks like we did a pretty good job on our rebar. None of it like fell apart and started crumbling in, so that was a worry I had. Let's keep this going. I hope the rest goes well.
So we got our steel in the hole. Now we're just working on getting our levels. I put the levels a little bit above where we wanted it, but with the dumping of the concrete, it came in a little quicker. So it went a little bit above the mark, which is okay. This way I know I'm meeting my at least 2 feet thick, 80,000 pound, you know, 80 ton footer here for a block wall. But now basically what I'm going through now is I'm just floating it, getting my level. And then this way, while it's still very workable and I can still move it easily, I'm getting it within like a 1/2 inch level all the way around, and then I'll do the final troweling out and removing things to get it perfectly level. But basically I'm just re-getting my level marks. All right, so our mud is starting to go off. And this is where I gotta really rely on Kristen to get it smooth, because she's like got OCD for stuff like that. I'll just kind of get it close. She'll get it mirror finish, which I don't know if we want a mirror finish for a footer, because you want it to be kind of rough so that the grout can stick to it. So let's not get it too smooth, honey. Don't make it marble.
Okay. We got the cement all down. It is dried, it's official, and we got it decently smooth. I felt like there was a little dipping ends in some of the corners, but when we put the level down, thank God, it's mostly leveled.
It's all pretty much on there.
It's like barely off in one spot,
It's
which
about
like nothing.
1/8 of an inch, which with the grout lines and the mortar line, not the grout lines, the mortar lines, you can make up a little bit of that throughout without giving up strength or, you know, messing it up, plumb and all that stuff. So it should work out really well. I'm hyped. I did a little more steel than they do around here, just because the reason I overbuilt the footer, and a lot of you guys had a lot to say, which I appreciate, because I felt like I had overbuilt it as well. But the thing is, with companies in Puerto Rico, they produce all the cement here. And for all the reading that I did, which I did a great deal, I know a lot of you probably don't know that I can read, but I did a lot of reading, and like there's a lot of things that go into concrete. There's a cement, sand, there's all sorts of new concrete that's like basically they pour it as water. So basically from what I read is the strength, the compressive strength and the tensile strength of the concrete relies heavily on like balances of calcium, magnesium, all sorts of different things that can affect it. And I'm not a chemist. I'm not gonna go and core sample these materials to make sure that they rate to whatever like an engineer specs would be. Like, you know, a 1 foot by 1 foot, if it's, you know, 5,000 PSI, will hold X amount of block. I don't know how to decipher the PSI. I can look at the formula, but the gray goo that goes in the hole, I really have no idea what's in that. I don't know if it's 50% sand. I'm not gonna go to the concrete company. I feel like when you're working, it's you know, it's kind of one mix. You get what you get. So I overbuilt it to hopefully mitigate some of those things like the cracking, give myself a little bit extra room. When I'm doing all the labor myself, I may have spent a little bit more on the concrete, but I did all the labor myself. So I saved the money there. I'm saving 40% on the project with the labor. So basically I'm comfortable to up spend 10 to 15, 20% of that for more concrete. You know, I'll get 20% more concrete than I need. I'll do 20% more steel than I need, which I know it costs me, but I'm still saving money because I did all the grunt work on my own. Even though my dad tried to say that someone snuck out here and helped me. No one comes out here and helps me. I really did do it. This is my only helper right here.
And I helped a little bit.
Yeah, she's trying to help me catch a stroke with all the pressure she's putting on me.
That's not true, ladies and gentlemen. Don't listen to him. The project came out good. Matt did a great job. I'm impressed. It's gonna come out good. That was probably the scariest part of the whole wall, right?
No, hell no. That's the easiest part. The block and the digging and the steel, those are all things I'm relatively familiar with, and they're pretty simple. It's building blocks. It's gonna go in, you level it, you make a little bit up with the mud. There's some wiggle room here. What I'm scared about is the finishings. The stucco, I've never stuccoed anything before, so I know I'm gonna struggle with that. And that's a ton of square footage to stucco, so that's gonna be a big, hard job. And then obviously I'm gonna have to figure out, we're gonna have light fixtures and stuff like that, so I might have to figure out how to run electrical lines.
They do solar lights.
Tying in the top of the steel, the stucco, the finishing, and then the painting, that's where I'm probably going to be the most nervous, because finish work is hard. Making things smooth has never been my forte. I can break stuff, but making things look buttoned up, I don't want it to be the counters.
The texture isn't bad.
I don't want it to be the counters of the boat all over again.
Do you see, guys? You hear me. I'm not putting the pressure on him. I'm keep telling him that this isn't a problem, but he's still holding it on. But I'll get blamed for it. Yeah. But that doesn't matter,
because she says a little texture's fine, and then when the texture's not fine, I'll say, little texture's fine, you said. Just say, not that texture, though. You have the word texture in your brain.
This is what it's like working with your
spouse. And there's
spouse.
One photo of texture in your brain. You're like, yeah, that texture's fine. But whatever texture I put out, you're going to say, that's not it.
We'll just agree to disagree and move on from this.
Well, yeah, okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. We did take our cats to the appointment. Unfortunately, 3 of them had some kind of eye infection or some sort, so we got them on antibiotics and we held them aside from the other cats, and they started getting better, but then we put them back when they were better and it came back. So we're having a bit of issues with the cats. Clearly, having 8 kittens, we have 8, right?
Yeah, their eyes were all mucky and kind of swollen, and the doctor said that could be gonorrhea herpes. And
he did not say.
He said it could be like 2 or 3 different things. I definitely heard herpes, and I definitely heard chlamydia. So sorry to earmuffs if there's any kids watching, but it wasn't. For me, I was like, whoa, I kiss these cats all the time, and they said you can't get it.
It's just cats. They're sick. We're trying to get them fixed. We got the antibiotics, but it doesn't seem to work. So we're kind of worried it might be something else, maybe in the abandoned house. So we got a lot of work to do there. 8 cats is pretty much our limit. I don't know why we thought we could just take care of 8 stray cats, but here we are.
It's been so great and rewarding to help rescue them from the miry clay that they were in. But the good thing is we got to go to get a Sam's Club card, because we had to go. We have to buy so much bulk cat food and litter that we were like, we can't afford to do it at the Econo anymore, or Walmart. So we said, you know what, let's try Sam's Club. And Sam's Club does have some great deals, and you can scan and go on your phone.
This is not a sponsored video.
Oh yeah,
anyways, guys, if you want to see the latest updates, make sure you check out our Patreon. The link will be down below. And comment, like this video, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next week. We're getting the block in. It's gonna happen.